بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Serious? No smiles?
No smile.
Is it hard to give up pork and alcohol, stuff like that, right? But also be like, oh, like, why did you become Muslim? When did you become Muslim?
The most common would be like, is it because of like a partner? But for me, no lah. Initially yes, but now it's all about myself and my relationship with the Creator, and also why, what's so great about this religion? Is it you are trying to be Malay?
I think as a community thing, we don't know how to react to converts and their convert stories. So like it's always trying to understand how I became Islam first. Another kind of question would be like, oh, is your family Muslim? You ask, you find you're Muslim there. Is your family Muslim? So I say no, I'm only Muslim in my family.
Why did you do it? Yeah, that's always the question, right? Why? People are just curious. Or first thing they ask, is it because you married a Muslim girl? That they always assume that a person converts because he or she marries a partner who's Muslim, but actually no. Then by the
I remember during one of the Chinese New Year, my relative actually saw me in hijab. And then she was like, what happened to you? And I say, oh no lah, I converted to Islam.
Okay, my biggest challenge is actually acceptance. Yep, because this comes from the surroundings that I have in terms of having Hindu Indian family and friends, where the primary lifestyle is sort of different as compared to being an Indian Muslim. I guess the main issue would be if you do not drink, you are not Indian. So that kind of mindset came about, and yeah, when you say you cannot drink or you have stopped drinking for a certain reason, they don't take it lightly. People should not judge the religion based on people's actions alone. Yeah, they should actually really understand the religion before they talk about it. Yeah.
I work with a lot of uncles and aunties, especially at NS. So when they see my name tag, it says that JW Co, and they straight away, and my skin color is brown, and sometimes they will just say to me, how come you Co? You wear whose uniform? So I think that the identity, and sometimes they think that I'm Chinese, they will straight away talk to me and I can't reply back. So yeah, I think that I would say a bit of communication and language barriers are my issue there.
So I don't think race has anything to do with it. It's just that if either you or me, like we have a friend that became Muslim, we'll be very happy for them, and we accept them based on that choice alone. We don't really look at anything other than that, right? And I think that's how I feel.
Maybe more of the getting accepted by my family members lah.
Always to respect your parents, respect the elders. No matter how much you disagree with them, or no matter what arguments you have with them, after all, you don't see how much they take care of you. It's not always parents. It could be someone in your life who was like a parent to you.
I think like Islam in general encourages us to look into our cultures and learn from them, and like I don't think there's an instance in our learning of Islam that says that okay, you have to abandon parts of your culture. Well, of course, parts that are un-Islamic, there are reasons why, and you're better off not doing it, right? But Islam itself encourages diversity, variety. I think the Chinese way of life is quite a structured block in our lives. And then after I learned about Islam, I realized that yeah, we are structuring our lives around our prayers also.
I feel that culturally, for Indians and being a Muslim, there's not really much of a difference. Yeah, like in terms of diet, more or less the same, or at least as far as my family is concerned. In terms of way of life, such as being respectful to your parents, being charitable, helping out in society, having patience, as well as the concept of not being lazy. So you just gotta do your best in anything that you do.
Oh, a lot. Respect your parents, respect the elderly, have strong kinship.
Or for me, I would say we do have a lot of proverbs in Tamil, especially concerning parents. Like we have to take care of our parents, and that's something deeply emphasized in Islam. You should always respect your parents, always love your parents, and no matter what they say, show them the wing of mercy, humility, right?
My father and my mother has imposed a lot of values onto us. Some things are like filial piety, the different celebrations that we have, like Hari Raya and Chinese New Year. They are very similar to each other because my parents, they always set this routine every year where we will ask for forgiveness on Chinese New Year itself and also Hari Raya. And at the same time, even though my Chinese relatives are, they're not Muslims, my dad still urges us to, no matter what, still keep in contact with them and to still visit them and share the joy with them.
I think it's important to keep my cultural practices, like especially after you become a Muslim. It becomes more important because what you essentially want to do is that you want to create your own Muslim identity, right? You don't want, like, as a Chinese or as an Indian or any other race, come into Islam and then you get fully assimilated into a Malay Muslim identity. So in order to create an identity that is your identity as a Chinese Muslim, you need to first know your Chinese roots, right? So in that sense, Islam motivates you to learn even more, to keep stronger to your roots, take the beautiful parts of it, and then integrate it with the Malay culture that you learn. As when you're in Singapore, that's the majority of the Muslim community, right? And you create a nice Chinese Muslim identity for yourself. And then, like, when more people do that, enough people do that, then you can create a community that a Chinese can come into and feel like they're at home because it's a Chinese Muslim community for them. Yeah. Yes.
Well, of course, I think that we should preserve whatever we have of our culture, and I think the fact that I am Muslim caused me to preserve my culture more than if I didn't become Muslim.
Definitely, yes. I think it's very important. I mean, it's a roots for us as a Muslim. Yeah.
Definitely, yes, because that was the race that I was born with and the race that I grew up as. So, being part of my life, I believe it's important to just uphold the values, not the bad parts, but just the values that I have learned from those cultures into my life every day now.
So to me, it is important because I wish to find a middle ground for myself as well as my family members. I do not want to push them away and make them think that Islam and the Indian culture is actually two different things where they cannot be integrated on our day-to-day lives. But in a way, it also helps them understand that the religion is not what they have to fear as they are fearing about.
Yeah, I think as long they are aligned with Islamic values, I think we should.
Yes, I think definitely. As long as you don't participate in anything that goes against Islam. But as a Chinese, I don't feel that there's much that we practice that goes really against, other than dietary wise. I find like it aligns very similarly. and I like how in the Quran also it's mentioned that Allah created humans in different tribes to get to know each other. And I believe that Allah placed Muslims in every tribe for a reason. That is also one thing that is very beautiful about Islam. No matter what your race, your culture, as long as you have the same beliefs, you are a Muslim.
I think because like in Singapore, majority Muslim are Malays. So a lot of people think that Malay, you you are Muslim means that you are Malay, or you are a Muslim means that you are Indian. To me, I think Malay culture is different from the Islamic culture, because Islamic culture itself is, I mean, religion. We cannot like mix race and religion together because it's totally different thing. Yeah.
I would say yes. Originally, our cultures, the point of Islam here in Singapore, yes, it has to do with Malayness, I would say. But then, yes, I would say in today's context, there's more cultures coming into Islam.
Of course no lah. But do I? I'm not Malay. Yeah. So, I think there is a misconception that everybody grew up with. But it's understandable because majority of Muslims tend to be Malay.
Well, I think that there's definitely many overlaps, and there's also a very clear line between culture and religion. But I think it's very important for us to keep in touch with our Chinese heritage.
For me, I think yes. Yeah, I think it's because that we have a multicultural society. It's much easier to practice Islam, and the fact that we've been growing up with friends from different races and religion, I think it's so easier to pick up. Yeah, and like masjids are very accessible. The community classes are very accessible, so it makes things much easier in this environment.
Yes, I do agree that being in a multicultural society actually makes it easier for me to learn more about Islam firstly, as well as embracing it, because there's many platforms, and not just me embracing Islam, people have the avenue to learn other people's religion, other people's culture, all within. It's easy to get within their own circle of friends or family members who have interracial marriages as well, where then the culture comes across as well.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yes, I would say, because unlike certain countries with very few Muslims, actually we have a very established Muslim community, so people don't get shocked when, like, for example, they see a hijabi on the bus, or someone like Brother Abbas with a long beard. Kidding. Kidding. Yeah, so there are many mosques in Singapore also, many halal certified establishments, so there's a lot of options that we have.
When we assume like a different identity than our own, right, we are not really out of the norm per se. We're just one of those that don't belong to a majority group. So I think that really helps a lot, especially like it comes to your trepidation, your fears when it comes to Islam. You don't want to be ostracized. A lot of understanding that comes with growing up beside your Malay friends.
It is much better than before, mainly because there have been more discussions due to social media, and when that happens, people start to get educated about not having that stereotype of saying that all Malays are Muslims.
A lot of people basically they are very respectful in terms of doing our practices. I mean, there are other religion, they also have their practices. I mean we are in a Singapore multiracial country, so I think yes.
For sure, man. Like I don't think it's the multicultural aspect alone. I think it's the fact that, like, two things I feel I would face the most difficulty if I were to travel, or I would be overseas, or if I would be staying overseas, would be prayers and food, right? Like places to pray and what to eat. So I think like Singapore as a country, because we respect every race and every religion, we've provided accommodations to everyone, and like I'm very grateful for that. Like, I think it's one of the best places